This meeting has been posted online for at least 72 hours in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Although members of the board are not gathered in a central physical location, we do have a quorum in attendance at this meeting by video conference or telephone call. We are meeting by use of Zoom, and we are streaming live via https:/zoom.us/j/88519686, which allows two-way communication for members of the public. Members of the public can add questions to the comment section on the page. If the speaker submitted written comments, the board secretary or designee will read the comments into the record before and during the board consideration of that item. If you would like to provide comment at a future meeting conducted by video conference or telephone, please follow instructions on the meeting notice. All other meeting procedures will adhere to the board adopted procedure to the extent practical. An audio recording of this meeting is being made and will be available to the public at a later date. We apologize in advance for any unforeseeable difficulties and ask for your patience as we navigate unprecedented conditions. If you have questions about the suspended laws, please call the Office of the Attorney General at 888-672-6787 or by email at tona@aag.texas.gov. I'll now ask that we do the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Morales, could you lead us in the pledge?
Yes, I will. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mrs. Rocha, could you lead us in a prayer if you're present?
Yes, I'm over here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Let's bow our head. Heavenly Father, we come tonight together as a family. Heavenly Father, we ask for your guidance and blessing. Heavenly Father, we just ask that you protect us from this illness that's going around. Heavenly Father, we bring up our community, our school district, and tonight we ask for a very special blessing over Dr. Rivera and our board of trustees as they continue to do the very best for our district. We ask to bless everybody here and bless all our members at home in our community. And we ask all of this in Jesus' name, and we say amen.
Amen. All right, we go to item 3, comments from the public. Obviously, this one here will to be emailed by 6 p.m. Did we receive any comments from the public?
None.
No, we did not.
Okay, then we'll go to number 4, superintendent's report.
Yes.
Hey, Doug, it might be a good idea to hold up so we could stream that part, because that's going to be that's important information, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I checked online. I know Joe is contacting Mr. Vallejo so they could start streaming on YouTube, because it's not streaming.
All right, so do we want to come back to the superintendent's report?
Hold on. Joe, are you there?
Or you want to take a quick recess, see if the IT has it up and running?
I'm calling him right now.
I think it's just us right now. Oh, we got 16.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, but it's saying it's supposed to start. I look good over here.
We have a total of 16 people looking at our watching our stream.
I'm looking at the stream, it just says,
I think this is all us.
waiting for it, Caucho's,
I'm seeing them on the participants on the bottom of them.
Mm-hmm.
So he's working on it. Could we maybe jump back to it?
So we're not at all right now, right?
He's having a hard time. He's going to get it, but he'll get it.
Okay, well,
Right, so then I need motion to,
we can post it after the fact because it's recording, right?
Yes, we're recording this.
Okay.
It's recording right there.
Okay, we could begin.
all right, let's go ahead and then with the superintendent's report.
I have 8 slides, and it's in your packet, but we also have them on our screens for the audience. On page 2 is the first slide. The coronavirus, we did some work before spring break and after spring break. Before spring break, and then it went out to the parents about the coronavirus. Principals were constantly reminding students of safety precautions. The maintenance, custodians, and transportation staff disinfected furniture, school buses, and other surfaces. All out-of-body trips were canceled, and we stayed alert to any new developments, and staff was told to stay home if they had any kind of flu symptoms. This was before. Now, before spring break, the principals and teachers assigned work to be done during that week. So we were a week ahead. Not that we anticipated, but that was the plan for the kids to be busy during spring break. Now, when we left the Friday before spring break, no one knew we would close our schools the first week back, which was Monday. So this was before spring break. On page 3, on page 3, this is what we did. It looks like a long time, but it's just only been 1 week. So on Monday of this week, first thing I did, I met with the principals and with the curriculum people to discuss a plan to prepare instructional package with printed student lessons and other resources to ensure that we were providing academic assistance to our students. The instructional package were printed with student lessons that were developed for 3 weeks. So these packages were delivered to parents. We had the cafeteria line with the meals. So in the same line, we provided packets. We did not know exactly how many packets were needed. We wanted to make sure that the kids had something quickly, so we started Wednesday. However, there was a little problem that we didn't have enough packets during Wednesday of this week. We had long lines. So then what I decided to do was to go ahead and have the package available Thursday and Friday at all the schools. So we opened up the high school, Ibarra, LBJ, JFK, to ensure that the parents now, once they would get the meals at the same sites, then they would have to go over to those sites to pick up their lessons. At the high school yesterday, 500 packages were delivered. So far, like I said, we didn't have enough on Wednesday, but on Thursday and Friday today, we were able to go ahead and give the package to the parent that showed up. Also, the instructional packets are also available online for parents to download and print at home if they wanted to. The students will be able to continue with the accelerated reading program. We also have the Mac and Via where students can log in to read books and then test on AR. This is what the library is doing. They use usernames and passwords that can be found on our district's website. The next packet, again, the ones that they got this week is good for 3 weeks. So the new packets, the timeline now is going to be April the 9th. That's the second date where the curriculum packets are to be available to our schools. So right now, for the next 2 weeks, the principals will be working with the teachers, and they'll be working on getting these packets available. So on April 9th, again, with more time to make sure we have printed packets available to all our students. The teachers also were asked, because the teachers are not in school right now. They're home, and we're following what the governor and we were told to do, to go ahead and make sure that we didn't have big groups in our school. And also the judge also came up with where we were asked to do the shelter at the homes. So our teachers are home. They're getting paid. Everyone's getting paid, but we just want to make sure that they're able to call the students. The principals are sending letters. We're using the district website and the campus website. Later on, what I'm going to do, I'm going to be asking the principals to make contact with the teachers for accountability for records of what they did during the closing of the school. So this was the first week. It was a difficult week because again, we had to rush everything to get the packets ready and get the meals ready. But for the most part, I feel that we were successful, and anyone that wanted a packet was able to receive this either Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. And again, the plan is on April the 9th, and it'll be given to the parents on our website and also on Facebook. That April 9th is the second date for the packets to be delivered. On page 4, at the high school, we're also doing the dual enrollment. We have online classes, and they're completing their online orientation module. The orientation was reviewed with students on how to upload assignments, take exams, and how to participate in course discussions. Chromebooks are available at the high school to be checked out. On the nursing, what we did today, we asked the nurses to go by the schools where we're serving the lunches. We wanted to make sure that the nurses were able to check all the cafeteria workers for temperature, to make sure they were not sick. They were asking questions. We wanted to make sure that the nurses were there, to make sure that our cafeteria staff was not sick. So what we're doing there is the director of nurses and all the nursing staff, before spring break, they went into to explain about the proper hygiene, safety procedures to the students the week again before spring break. She continues trying to order the masks, the gloves, and other supplies or equipment that's needed. Also, the director of nursing is also working closely with Stephen Hinojosa with the Edinburgh Health Department to stay abreast of any latest updates. So we're getting the nurses involved too to make sure that our staff, the ones that are at the school, are safe, that are not sick, and being able to work with our students. On page 5, in special education, we're also working the department of the technology, our remote learning and package will continue to provide instruction for students served by our district special ed program for as long as the current situation exists or exits. The remote instruction will include any modifications or any accommodations as set forth in the student's individual's education IEP. The related service providers will be in contact with parents to determine the best way to meet the student's need during this remote learning. If a student's annual ARD meeting is due during this time, the ARD meeting will be held either by telephone or through Zoom or some other program. The technology, a list of all the resources, links are available on the EISD homepage website that students and parents can use, which include the instructional package, dyslexia online resources, login page, accelerated reading, and library resources. What we're doing today, again, it's a learning process for all of us. I talked to Mr. Torres about being able to provide a free Wi-Fi from our parking lots to all students. All they need to do is park close to the building to get the internet. So the parking lots will be available for those students that need to go there that do not have the Wi-Fi. We're studying possibilities of a lending program for our students that do not have access to a device at home. All schools have Chromebooks that can be used on a checkout basis. So we're looking into this. We're also looking we have monies in the budget to buy additional laptops or Chromebooks to make sure that if we extend longer into May, that we order these additional technology devices to help our students. On page 6, this is what the nurses were doing with our kids. They had little pamphlets that went out about hand washing and about in your sneeze, what you do. So we're hoping that the kids that learn this in school, when they go home during this time, they'll also practice the same thing about successful hand washing and if they cough. On page 7, we have the information of the drive-through meal distribution. The meal details is all boys and girls 18 and under are eligible for meal pickup, not required to be enrolled in EISD. And we have 4 sites: Carlos Tuan, Ruben Rodriguez, Santiago Garcia, DEID Learning Center on Mile 12. And as I mentioned earlier, these are the sites for the meals. So when parents go there to get their meals, if they want the instruction, they can get the instruction for that school there, or they'll have to go to the high school, to JFK, LBJ, to be able to get the instructional packets. And the reason was they were getting real long lines, and that was the reason we decided to go ahead and just open all the schools for instruction. The expenses, we have cafeteria working there 5 days a week. We have bus drivers transporting food to the learning center. The Southwest Food Excellence, there's fees that we have to pay them, administration, management, and food costs. And the meal expenses will be picked up by the cafeteria fund balance account up front, but the department of ag will reimburse our district at the following rates: breakfast $184, lunch $341. And on the bottom, this is the count for the first 5 days. You can see THRU, Rodriguez, Santiago Garcia Learning Center. On the first day, we served 1,335 meals. On Tuesday, a little bit more, 1,791. On Wednesday of this week, 2,093. On Thursday, 2,058. And today it dropped. And I think it dropped because many parents were aware of this shelter at home. Maybe they saw police officers there and they did not want to go out there and get fined. So we saw a lower count today. On page 8, this is what we started this week. Just have a picture where the lines are at the 4 campuses, and the cafeteria staff is not going to the individual cars to deliver the lunch. Whoever is there, they need to get down and get their packets. We're trying to look at the 6-foot distance, and the rules changed just this week. I think it was yesterday, where now the rules were that kids had to pick up the meals. That came from the state. So now the rules changed, where now the kids don't have to be in the cars. Parents can come by and pick up their meals. And again, we're practicing the social distance to protect our cafeteria staff. And we just want to provide, as a district, we want to provide the meals for our boys and girls, and also the instruction. Again, it was a week of learning. We learned some things that we didn't do, that we can do better. So the plan for next week is just meals. And the next week is the meals and the instruction packets again. So again, we're not perfect. We want to employ the governor and judge are saying we want everyone to stay home. But if we stay home, we can't provide the instruction and we can't provide the meals. So we're out there daily, some of the staff members, again, trying to do the instruction and also providing meals for our students. So again, it hasn't been easy. It's been a tough week. Again, we made some mistakes. All we can do is get better week 2, and then from then on. This is my report. Are there any questions from the board?
No, Doc, this is Rolly Lozano. I just kind of want to, extend a arm of gratitude, I guess, to you and the staff and everybody involved, including custodians, cafeteria ladies that were out there working, and yourself. I know you all were working diligently to put this together, and I know it's a trying time for everybody, and you said there were some mistakes that were made, but all in all, I think great job all around by you and your staff and the entire staff. I applaud you. I think this was, like I said, a trying time, and I think we got through it. We got through week 1, something very new to everybody. But again, thank you. Thank the staff. Please ensure to thank everybody for us. Thank you.
Will do. Thank you.
Doc,
Yes.
I also had something else. I know you mentioned that on packets and on the meals, the way we're advertising or sharing with our parents are through social media and phone calls. And we do have that phone program where messages go out. Yes. Are we using that? Is that what we're using?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
I want to make sure that way we can coordinate. Know that we do have several of our parents that don't have social media, and we need to target everybody. So just wanted to check on that.
And the letters going out are in Spanish and English.
I have another question. You were talking about the Chromebooks that we have them to be issued out to the students. What is the procedures? Are we going to put a date? Is there going to be a location? Is there going to be a drive-through? What do y'all have planned for that?
See, right now was the first day that we thought about doing this. So I need to get together with the principals to go ahead and come up with a plan as to how we're going to disseminate these Chromebooks on a loan basis. So the plan is not definite yet. We're working on it.
Okay, great. And Doc, I just want to reiterate what Ms. Lozano said. Thank you. Thank Ms. Rocha. Thank our administration, principals, our nutrition department, our transportation department. Thank you, everybody, counselors, everybody doing a terrific job. It's a trying time. It's something that's new to everybody doing this. I mean, I'm in my living room right now and we're in a meeting, and it's a struggle, but we get through it together. Communication is key, and I know with all of us working together, we get done. So thank you again, Doc. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, any other items for Doctor as far as in his report? Okay, man, we're going to go to 5 consent agenda items. Any questions on any of the consent agenda items?
If there isn't any questions or concerns, I'd like to make a motion to approve all consent agenda items as presented.
Second.
All right, there's a motion by Mr. Lozano, second by Mr. Ibarra. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We're going to go to number 6 now, discussion and action items. A, discussion and possible action to reject RFPs for the fencing project at Ibarra Middle School, Fine Arts, HSK buildings, Delta Mercado, and allow administration to further study the project. Doctor?
We had two quotes. We thought they were rather high. So I'm talking to Rudy and to Sylvia. We're going to go back and study this and maybe do this in smaller numbers and be able to get the small guy to be able to put a quote in there, because as the small guy, the small business guy, there were too many schools for him to go ahead and do a quote. So I think by working with the smaller businessman, we'll be able to get maybe quotes and do this at a different pace instead of all together. But I will keep the board informed through an update as how we're going to do this. But the plan is we want to fence, and the monies are there to fence Ibarra Middle School, the Fine Arts, the Kate, and the monies are there, and we just want to do it a little bit different to be able to get this project accomplished. So the motion would be, if you want to be just to reject the proposals and kind of allow us to study the project a little bit more.
So move.
Hey, need a second?
Second.
All right, there's a motion by Mr. Lozano, second by Mr. Smallstreet. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we're going to go to 6B now. Discussion and possible action to pay off existing loans for the turf and track, real radios, Musco lighting, stadium jumbotron, with savings from the budget, and secure new loans for turf and track project and playground equipment for elementary schools. Doctor?
Yes, it's in your package, and it's also on the screen. Is it on the screen for the board to see? Okay, this is the same slide that I've shared with you many times. And what we want to do, we have in savings, we've got at least $3 million, but we want to use $1 million of this to pay off loans 1, 4, 5, and 6, to pay off the turf and track, the stadium jumbotron, the Rio radios, and Musco lighting. So if we pay these 4 loans off, that's $900,000, and then to secure a new loan for the turf and track and playground equipment. In talking to our consultant financial advisor, Dusty Traylor, he says we can borrow up to $3 million, but I'm going to recommend to the board that we just borrow $2 million. And if we pay off these loans, on next year's budget, and if we borrow $2 million for the turf and track and playground, if we borrow, then we'll just have the turf and track, we'll have the we'll have the softball and baseball field project and the energy management. So by borrowing the money, $2 million for 10 years, we're able to go ahead and with the projects that we paid off, the budget for next year will be, if we borrow it for 10 years, will be about 200 and, about the same that it is, 260. So we're paying 4 loans. So next year, instead of paying $1 million, we'll just be paying 3 loans. So we actually save, from the budget for next year, we're actually saving $200,000 that we can put back in our budget to be able to use it for other things that we need. So long story short, if we pay off, and we got $1 million reserved for this, we pay off 4 loans, then we borrow $2 million for 10 years, build our turf and track, and use the other $1 million that we need for playground equipment, and yet we don't have to increase the budget next year because we paid off 4 loans. I hope I was clear what we're trying to do, but it's, again, we will not, or next year, we pay off the loans. So instead of paying all the amounts that are here, we're paying the 3 loans, and we'll be able to reduce the budget by $200,000 next year. Ms. Sylvia is here if you have any questions for her or questions for me, but it is possible, again, to borrow the $2 million, get our turf and track project, the playground equipment, pay off the other 4 loans with $1 million, and get the new loan, and in 10 years, we'll pay it off, and we're paying less on our budget for next year, a savings of about $200,000. Again, if I'm not clear, Ms. Sylvia's here, or I'm here to make sure that you all understand what we want to do. We want to borrow $2 million for the turf and track, pay off the existing loans, and then reduce the budget next year, because we're going to have lesser loans. Reduce the budget that we have right now. Right now, it's about $900,000, and we'll reduce this by the 3 loans that we have, and that's the plan. So we are financially secure. We have the money to pay off these loans, and the turf and track is on the agenda later on. So I feel good about being able to do it this way with the board's approval. Again, Ms. Sylvia's here, or I'm here if you have any questions on this item.
Doc, could we maybe do this in phases? Like the first phase of this recommendation would be, let's pay off the loans. I think that would be one phase that I'd like to make a motion that we take the doctor's recommendation to pay the existing loans with some of the money that we've got in-house.
So moved. I'll second the motion.
Okay, Doctor, are you okay with that?
I'm okay with that, yes.
Great, so I'd like, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So that motion was to pay off the existing loans. And then the second phase, I think we need to look at a later date, Doctor, with everybody, again, more details on obviously the loans and things like that. I guess we can come back to that one.
Yes, we can wait. I'm good with that.
Great. Any other questions on B? Then we'll jump to C. Discussion of possible action to select vendor pursuant to RFPs for turf and track project. Doctor.
Okay, you have a slide on that one. You have a slide on the companies. There were 3 firms that submitted proposals. Can we put them on the screen? Mr. Torres? Okay, we had 3 firms that submitted a proposal to do the turf and the track. It was in alphabetical order: Field Turf, Hellas, and Symmetry. There were 5 individuals on the committee: Silvia Garza, Cos Navarro, Ray Rodriguez, Luis, and me. So there was 5 of us that looked. We interviewed the 3 firms, and it was a split vote. Symmetry did not receive any number 1s. Field Turf had 2 number 1 rankings, and Hellas had 3. So Hellas had of the 5, 3 of us ranked Hellas number 1, and then Field Turf number 2, and Symmetry number 3. Coach Navarro is here. The recommendation is to go ahead and go with Hellas. Navarro is here. If you have any questions for him on these 3 firms with their proposals.
Doc, I have a question for you. With everything that's going on right now, is today the right time to be making a purchase this big? We really don't know what's going to happen. We don't even know if we're going to be able to open up to finish off the year. We don't know what's going to happen next year. It's just really tough times. I know that we're at, Rob, 18 cases as of today in Hidalgo, and it's only going to increase. I'm just a little concerned that we're going to commit ourselves to a $2 million project and then have to come back and need that money somewhere else for something. I know that last thing I want to do is put the district in jeopardy. I'm a little concerned with us making such a big purchase right now. Can it wait a month? Can we study this and come back a month from now and see where we're at?
I first name with Mr. Ibarra as well on this. I'm sorry, Mr. Torres, I'm also on board with Member Ibarra on this one, Doc. I mean, if we can just wait a little bit on it, as it is right now, we don't know what's going to happen, what reimbursements are going to be like when all is said and done. But again, it's open for discussion.
Yeah, I agree with the other board members. I think we probably maybe want to wait, Doc, just a little bit longer. We're not sure what's coming down the pipeline and what the prices we're going to have to face. And I think right now the community may need us in other areas versus making a purchase right now for a few. I think we should wait maybe another month.
What I did?
Okay, can we hold off a month?
Oh yes. What I did. In fact, I had already planned the plan B. I had asked Coach that in case the board decides not to go ahead and do it right now, that if the field could wait another year and he can patch it up and do, because last year we had some injuries on it. So if we have a season, if we have football season, Coach told me that he can go there and maybe get the field repaired as much as possible and then play only the varsity games there if we have a season and play the JV freshman at another site. So he told me the field can possibly hold off for 1 more year. So I'm okay with what you want to do.
Well, I'm not saying a whole year. I'm just saying, let's see where we're at in April.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to hold it another year, Doc. I mean, we did sustain a lot of injuries across all sports and the band. And of course, we like Mr. Ibarra said, we do need to save our money just in case something happens that we need to make a big purchase, or you never know. But at the same time, I don't want to just say, no, we're not going to get it this year, knowing about what happened this past year, knowing that we had a lot of injuries. But if we could just wait it off, let's see, every day's been different with this pandemic. And I know the numbers aren't on the down click, but let's see where we are in a month, in my opinion. And I don't want to totally push this out, but at the same time, we got bigger things to worry about.
Well, then I'd like to make a motion to table it for next month and see where we're at.
Second.
All right, there's a motion by Mr. Ibarra, second by Mr. Lozano to table item. And all those present?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Can I add a little something to that, please?
Sure.
In talking to the vendors, their timeline was varied all the way from April to 1st of August, but generally I think the consensus was they could do it in 3 months. So that'd be 90 days. So I think there is a little bit of time that we can still keep, because there's no changes in cost, in the market, but we'll inform them of that.
Do you think, it's the economy's gone down. Do you think if we were to go out and we'd be able to get a better price for it, knowing that, things are going to be tight and we can have more of a competitive bid? Or do you think we just stay with what we have? Or
Well, I think, sir, but that's a good point, because you have proposals already. I don't know if you have to reject the proposals or typically we hold them for 60 days. If they're willing to hold them for 60 days, then we can ask them that.
okay.
I know that right now in the city, there's some projects going on, some apartments going up, and the contractor, the GC, is having problems finishing off these projects because he can't find guys to come in and work because because of the pandemic and what's going on there. So that might also be a factor.
And the other item also, guys, we have to understand that football season may not be on schedule this year. It could be pushed out as well, according to your item. So
Sad, but it's the truth.
yeah, so I guess then
There are a lot of unknowns.
Yeah. So in the motion here that we table this item, that Mr. Ibarra made the motion, and it's been second and approved.
Thank you.
Let's go to the next item. We're now on 6D. Discussion of possible action to approve the 2020-2021 school calendar. Mrs. Rocha.
On page 90, on page 90 of your packet, you have the option 1 and option 2. And you can see that option 1 had 143 votes. Option 2, 395. So Ms. Rocha and I are recommending option 2 for the calendar for next year.
So moved.
Second.
Right, so the motion by Mr. Lozano, second by Mr. Barco. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Can I make a comment on the school calendar? I know I was approached by some hourly employees, and there's an issue with a couple of Saturdays towards the end of the school year. If we could address it for next year, because like TAs only work a certain number of of days, and they're kind of left in limbo and not getting paid for some of these days, Doc. Or at least that's what I was told. It was kind of a brief conversation. But if you could look into it for next year, just to ensure everybody is compensated for their work.
Yes, I'll look at calendar 2 and see if we can make adjustments on Saturday. Yes, I'll do it.
All right, thank you, Doc.
Next item is state, in 6E is discussion and action approved state of education regulations. School board trustee must elect the board of directors of regional educational service centers. Each school trustee in region receives 1 vote per vacancy on the board, with the exception of South Texas, which receives a total of 7 ballots. Dr. Rivera.
You should have a ballot. This is the ballot. Now, what you can do, if you can email your vote to Nelly or to me, and I'll send these to Region 1. So later on, just select one of these that you want, and it'll be mailed to Region 1.
Okay.
That's the recommendation.
Can we come in with unanimous right now, or it has to be emailed in?
It's up to you. We can do it, yes.
And each board member gets their own vote too. It's not a majority gets all the votes. Every board member has the right to vote.
Oh, okay. I understand.
So the motion, I guess, is to email Nelly your vote?
Yes.
Okay.
So do we just type in the name, or, because I'm looking at the item on our agenda and it doesn't show the ballot. What you're showing us there on your screen is not on our packet.
No, it isn't. She didn't put it there, but she can email that to you. She can email you the package for the ballot.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Great, motion by Mr. Lozano, second by Mr. Schmaltz. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion passes. F, discussion of possible action to approve change order for the ag facility project to include additional costs for the project management in the amount of $40,000 and to approve payment to Science Brothers for this change order. Dr. Rivera.
Miss Sylvia went back and looked at the wording of the contract, and I think she met with Mr. Castillo. And she looked at it, and we are recommending the additional change order of $40,000 to Science Brothers. The attorney is here with us, and he can elaborate if you got any questions on it.
Any questions?
Sylvia said it was okay, Doc?
Yeah, she's here. You want to ask her? Can we get Sylvia on the screen?
Sylvia?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes? Yes.
I'm recommending approval.
For approval? All right, go ahead and make the motion for approval.
Second.
All right, there's a motion by Mr. Smalshy, second by Mr. Lozano. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. G.
Nana, real quick, I'm getting some, I got a couple of text messages. People can't, there's no audio, they can see the video, but they can't hear, Joe. I don't know if you can do something about that.
Yes, sir. The audio is only on YouTube. So Joe Vallejo is actually recording from the house. If it's not coming out, he can upload the video at a later date.
Okay.
So they're viewing the meeting on YouTube, not on Zoom.
Okay.
But
Is there any way we can fix that for, I mean, if we're gonna continue to do this, I mean, it just seems like an extra step.
yeah, no, yes, sir. He'll fix it. It's just the first time he's like I said, he's working out of the house, so it's something completely new. He'll get it taken care of.
All right, thank you, Joe.
All right. Next item here is discussion of possible action on approving new BBQ club or organization.
Mr. Lozano approached me on this club, and Lidia Gonzalez also, and Kate. And it's a new club. Kids participate, and they go out there and they judge them in cooking, fajitas, and chicken, and whatever. So I think it's a good club. There's no direct cost to the district. We just get more kids involved in being able to join this club and learning to barbecue.
Hey, real quick, guys, I'm wearing my Body by Brisket shirt. This is something that's done across the state. I know there was a scheduled barbecue cook-off here for South Padre. They already had 17 teams signed up, but they were all from North Texas. Not a single team from the Rio Grande Valley has been participating in this high school Texas barbecue association. So this is just an extra club that I wanted to bring to the school. We do have a great group of people that put a packet together that we could share with you all at a later date. But this is something that's not going to be, like Dr. Rivera said, not at the cost of the school. It's just a brand new club. We're trying to get kids different options and different things they can get out there and do as far as, under the banner of Ed Cauchos ISD.
I think it's a great idea, and I know Emma and Alex would benefit greatly from this club. To have somebody know how to barbecue at their household, that'd be great.
Alex getting free.
Second. Mr. Smalshy, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, gentlemen. The next item here is number 7, closed session. The superintendent requested the Board of Trustees convene a closed meeting as authorized by the provisions of the Open Meeting Act, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. The executive session is according to the Texas Government Code 551.074 for the purpose of discussion of personnel considering appointment, employment, resignation, retirement, evaluation. B, consultation with legal regarding pending litigation matters. It is now 7:14. We are in executive session. I would ask all board members that we leave this site and go into the second Zoom. We're now in executive.
Okay.